what do we think is the most embarrassing song on all of your playlists
You know
combined?
what? I should probably be more embarrassed, but I'm not really embarrassed. I don't think.
Mine might be "Teenage Dream" by Katy Perry. Not
That's a great
I'm
song.
proud of it.
not the
I'm
most
proud of
manly
it.
song ever.
By the
but
way, Ben, you put one of your own songs on here.
You did.
I was hoping no one would notice
Wait,
that.
I think I put one of yours. You put one on your own.
Did I put "Give Heaven Some Hell"?
Wow.
Give Heaven Some Hell.
Okay, well that is.
That's just, you know what? I know I wrote that song, but I'm more proud of that song maybe than any other song I've ever written. So
Can
I'll
you
put it
tell
on.
me? First of all, I thought the Hardy album was that album that like every hook was just like the most genius hook ever. Like he's just like the hook guy. But
Yeah,
everyone, I remember when the song came out, and everybody was like, "Oh, that song is so good."
Hey,
But
well, fun fact: he's the dead guy in the music video. You know.
I gotta rewatch the video.
Yeah.
I gotta rewatch the video. Did they make like were you just lying in the coffin or whatever? Or like,
No, the way it's done, it's more like flashbacks to when that character or whatever was alive. So it's more like the memories, and then they carry me out in a casket in the end.
I gotta rewatch this. I saw it when it first came out, but I gotta rewatch it. But how did that song get written? I know it's not really a track 45 thing, but I'm just so curious because I feel like everybody talks about the hook of that song, how clever that is. Like what happened that day?
So it was Hardy, and then our buddy Hunter Phelps and I were writing, and we wrote this song called "Truck," which is the first song on his album.
Which that's another song where I remember listening to that song and I was like, how good could a country song called Truck be?
Truck, yeah.
And then it's like an amazing song. Like or like a rock with like every song on that record was like the worst title ever. And that was like the most genius song ever.
It's funny, isn't it?
Okay. So you had written Truck already.
He's amazing. Yeah, he's also just 30 minutes from our hometown. He's from Philadelphia, Mississippi. But so yeah, we had written the song called "Truck," and in the second verse of "Truck," we were writing it, and there's a line in there that says, "Bet there's stories about his best friend that he can barely tell because he misses him like hell." And while we were writing it, Hardy actually said, "Bet there's stories about his best friend that he can barely tell, and he's giving heaven some hell," just like as a line. And I immediately was like, "Dude, that sounds like a whole song, like just called 'Give Heaven Some Hell.'" And so we stopped writing "Truck" for a second, and we sketched out everything of what "Give Heaven Some Hell" might sound like or what it would talk about. And we said, well, we're going to be writing again next week. Let's come back and then finish it. And so we got back together the next week with Ashley Gorley, who's the greatest songwriter ever. And so we wrote that whole song in 30 minutes. I remember
30 minutes.
playing these piano chords that were this is kind of embarrassing, but it was the same chords to "Halo" by Beyonce. And so I was like, well, these are kind of angelic chords or whatever. We'll toughen them up. Yeah, 30 minutes, the whole song was done. And we were like, all like, just, so pumped and crying and excited. And it was amazing. It was wonderful.